Hey guys, Steamhawke here, and I am about to jump in and start playing FTL, or Faster Than Light, developed by Subset Games. Now, this is a small indie game that has really taken the world by storm a couple years back. Everyone who's ever touched it has absolutely loved it. It's a simple roguelike game where you've got a tiny Federation ship running away from the pursuing rebels, which is kind of a flip-flop on the typical style of big ol' empire or existing government organization chases down the tiny but scrappy rebels. Instead, it's the Federation who are the presumably good guys, getting absolutely wrecked by this giant rebellion that is just sweeping through the galaxy trying to hunt them down and blow them up. So, this is a game I've been really excited to play because it's something I haven't ever really gotten the chance to do. I never really played any similar games, and space is just kind of something that I rarely get to touch in my games outside of something like StarCraft. I also have a personal connection with this game because all through my college years, one of my roommates would play this game like every single night once he got it. If he had a paper due the next morning, he'd be up at like 5 a.m. playing FTL. If he had to study for a test, he would just like pass out, wake up, and start playing FTL instead of studying. And I was always like, what is your problem, man? You're going to fail your classes. It's going to be awful. And then I finally just got the game recently, and I see the appeal of it. It is very simple, but it has procedurally generated maps and events, which also have an additional layer of RNG, where just because you get a single event, and you make a single choice, doesn't mean that the outcome is always going to be the same. So, I'm really excited for this game. It should be a good run. I have found that I am incredibly bad at this game. I've been playing it a little bit on my own in preparation for this Let's Play series, and I have found that after like 15 hours, I've finally beat easy mode once. The rest of the time I get shut down by mantis men, or obliterated by rebel ships, or all my people get eaten by space spiders, or anything of the sort. But this is Faster Than Light. I'm excited to do a Let's Play, so let's go ahead and jump in on this beautiful winter into space! Alrighty, let's begin. First of all, we need to choose a ship. I only have two unlocked. The beginning ship is the Kestrel cruiser. I believe this is just your standard Federation-style ship. And I've also unlocked an NG cruiser. The NG in this game are a race of robot-like people who are particularly good with machines, but don't excel at combat itself, so they build a bunch of drones and rely on autonomous units to do their damage for them. There's a bunch of extra ships that I would love to get because they look awesome, and I assume they're pretty rockin'. Rocks are pretty cool in this game. Slugs are pretty cool in this game. Stealth just sounds amazing. Mantis men, pretty awesome. And yeah, that's the basic gist of it. I think for this run, we're going to go full-on, straight-up normal stuff and go with the Kestrel. But of course, we can't run the Kestrel. It has to be the Steamhawke. Aw, yeah. And we have a couple different layouts we can choose from, and it just ate my name. And these will affect my starting weaponry, my starting crew, and how my ship is laid out, which changes a few things in terms of how exactly the game will develop. So take, for instance, this layout A. You can see that we've got our shields, our med bay, our door control, and our sensors all kind of in this central area, and then the back of the ship is what contains the engines, my oxygen, and my weapon systems. So a lot of times what's going to happen is if someone boards in the center of the ship, they're going to rapidly destroy my med bay or my shields or my weapons, and then kind of slowly work their way to the back. The oxygen is pretty well protected. You have to go through quite a ways to get there. And that's just kind of the general flow of it. You also see that I've got two side doors and one back door that allow me to open it up and vent out in the case of fires, or if I really want to drain an area of oxygen. Alternatively, we've got layout B, the red tail style, which is a little bit different. We see that our oxygen is set up in the dead center. We no longer have a rear-facing airlock, but we do still retain the ones on the sides, and we've got this one up front in case we need to get fires out from the pilot's area. We also see that the engines, the shields, and the weapons are all kind of located back here, and we have a different setup with the crew, where instead of 3 humans, we have 2 humans, a Zoltan, and a Mantis Man as our starting crew. Additionally, we've got 4 lasers as our setup to begin with. Just basic lasers. They take 10 seconds to charge up, deal 1 damage each, are affected by shields. Whereas back on layout A, we had a missile system for blowing up for going through shields, and then a slightly stronger individual laser. Finally, it looks like we've got the Swallow as layout C. This is one I have never actually used. Still have the door systems and the sensors right next to the pilot, real close up front, but you can see that they're actually connected now, whereas in layout A they were not. You're back down to 3 crew members, 2 humans, and a Lanius. Lanius are funky metal people who do not require oxygen, just kind of interesting dudes. And we still have our weapons and our shields located right next to each other. Oxygen is central and can be reached from most places on the ship, and we've still got our side-mounted and back-mounted airlock doors. You also notice that right here we have a cloning bay instead of a med bay, so that my guys will not actually be healed by throwing them into this room. Instead, what the cloning bay does is when one of your crew members dies, then after several seconds they will be recreated or respawned in this little cloning bay area, and you can send them back out to where they were. However, there is a penalty associated with their death where they lose some of their skill buildup, and that is unfortunate for me. I personally really like having a med bay on board, and I don't know how I feel about these Lanius guys because I've never actually had the chance to have one. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use layout B because I personally think this one is particularly solid. Oh, it does look like I've got some rear mounting airlocks. I didn't realize that before. So we're going to use layout B. We're going to go with the Steamhawke. Whoop. And capitalize it properly. Bam. Looking beautiful. You there, sir. Ma'am. Oh, look at all these different humans we have options for. Alright. Well, you, of course, will be Steam. And you will be our captain and a fine man among us. This will be my lovely girlfriend, Sarcasm. She will be joining us on this space adventure. Wonderful. Now we've got this Zoltan, who is pretty cool. This is an interesting race of relatively flimsy people who are really interesting in that they can channel energy through themselves and power systems or rooms wherever they are. They also explode when they die as opposed to just keeling over. Pretty funky, but I like it. Let's see here. What are we going to name this guy? This will be Zaxar! And he will be a member of our crew. It'll be wonderful. Bam. And finally, we're going to go ahead and bring a lovable Mantis Man as our heavy lifter, our assault warrior, and this will, of course, will be my dear friend Chonji Akuma. Bam. So, we've got our crew all set up, we've got our 4 basic laser systems, we've got me, we've got my girlfriend, we've got random Zaxar, and of course we've got Chonji joining us for the space adventure. So, we are all ready to start. Let's do it!